come on in, family. We're going to get started in just a second. Praise God for you. Sorry we're running behind. We had to move everything several times as usual, but that's all right. We do what we're supposed to do. Regardless of whatever spirits want to say, whatever, declare whatever, and speak whatever, we're going to talk to that thing tonight. Talk to it every day. And I'm going to be honest tonight. We're going to have some honest dialogue tonight. Shalom, peace. Come on in, come on in. My voice is still not all the way back, but it's back enough. We're going to talk tonight. Praise God. How's everybody doing? Come on in. We get started. I apologize. I'm supposed to be on about 2 minutes before I got on. It is what it is. Prayerfully, all is well. Prayerfully, everybody's being safe. Prayerfully, everybody's keeping it together. Shalom, peace, peace. Everybody doing all right? Gonna be real quick. Somewhat quick, at least. Got to get back on the road. And who knows how long we'll be once we get back on the road. But as I'm getting older, as I'm getting wiser, even though there might be some that will argue that there's some stuff that I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I realize and recognize that I'm supposed to speak. Whether demons, imps, spirits, persons, etc. want to accept it or not, you got to do what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. You need to have this over yourself. This is not just a Kofi message, even though I'm being honest with you, it's a message that was for me first and foremost, but it's for everybody, right? This is what I'm gonna live by. I promise y'all, my flesh, my arguing, anything with anybody after this moment is done, because I've come to a conclusion, I've come to a thought process, and I am totally 100% okay with what I'm about to say, regardless of who hears it, says whatever. Tell them they can take it, run. Tell them they can run. Tell that. When I tell you this, you need to make sure that you say this to your spirit, to yourself, and encourage yourself, as the word says. Because a lot of times you're gonna have to realize that very little encouragement comes from those who are gonna be the ones that say that they support you, this, that, whatever. You got to be okay with encouraging yourself, and you got to be okay with denouncing folks who are constantly denouncing where you are. So I want you to carry some things with you, some things that I'm getting to with just life in general. As you get older, the way you deal with stuff or whatever, and I used to never be one, as much as everybody used to say stuff like I was never really like the argumentative type and all this stuff, and I realized like I've started arguing with folk, and I've started like just chatting too much, and I've started getting too much, and you know what, like it's time to know, like to stand who you are, to stand up your square, like we say all the time, right? So we're just going to speak of some things, give you some tools, and join, and in this safe place, make a safe place, hashtag a safe place. And I'm making a safe place. Let's make a safe place for ourselves, for our families, for our thought process, for where we are, et cetera, right? So just want to give you some tools. This is also kind of sort of a makeup for yesterday when I wasn't able to come on, I guess Thursday and Friday, Thursday evening. I couldn't make it Friday in the rising or in the evening because of my lack of voice. So this is kind of a makeup for everybody. Or did we come on yesterday? We came on last night, Friday, but it was more just chilling out, not really teaching, even though we did some teaching as well. But let's go ahead and get ready to get started. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the Father's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, protect today's message. Amen. Shalom, family, peace, peace, peace. May God's blessing be with you. Belated Shabbat Shalom, or if you do Shabbat, or if you do Shalom or Shabbat on Saturday all the way through, feel free to go ahead and be part of the whole Shabbat. Also, for those that are watching this later, thank you for watching the whole recording. This is recorded, so you can go ahead and listen to the whole thing freely. We did have issues, I guess. We have issues this rising on Thursday, whenever it was. The last time we had YouTube issues, we're trying to upload that on YouTube, so prayerfully we'll get that to you guys. ASAP, I apologize. It's just been a lot of stuff, trying to get some stuff together. But we're going to get this message to you no matter what. For the brothers, I did try to send, I hope it wasn't too confusing because stuff was happening on the fly. Had some issues with the vehicle, had an emergency situation, and things just got kind of crazy. It went from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and had like a whole bunch of persons that were getting involved and bad information that was being given and all this. So I apologize, but had to do what I had to do to make sure we can get on the road. So we're on the road now, brothers. We postponed it. We're gonna move our men's meeting until Monday night, 9 p.m. New York time. I promise I'll only be like 30, 40 minutes total, including the music introduction that we do to praise and worship. So thank you guys for being in place. It just couldn't happen. I had to take care of business, and I had promised already we were going to do the live session, so I had to make a decision. I could have canceled the live session, or I could have postponed the men's meeting. So that's why it's been postponed. We'll be on as soon as possible. Let's say shalom to everybody real quick, though, and let's get started. How you doing, Beck? How you doing, TJ, Deborah, Lilith, user 455769, etc. MFY, my father Yahweh. Sorry, La. I be messing this up all the time. Is it LAH9007? Round the Revolution, Mignon, Joe, everybody come on in. James, Samuels, Jocelyn, Ali, Camera, Eric, Mr. Positive, Hey, Baby, Karen, Apple User, Sarah, Darius. If I miss anybody, charge to my head, not to my heart. Thank you everybody for being on. How you doing? Murray, Jamie, Kenzo, Ricky, In Motion. Did I say In Motion already? I think so. Gregory, Strawberry. If I miss you, church to my head, not to my heart. Again, thank y'all for the love. Any donations, by the way, thank you so much. Any donations of time, talent, effort, energy, and yes, even including money or things that you help us to make sure that we're doing things righteously as far as financial stuff for the kingdom or for each other, homestead, etc. We thank you all so much. Those who are part of it, we have our Sunday is tomorrow, so those who know about the 5 to 10 program, thank you so much in advance. And to Lottie Di and everybody, hopefully once again you're having a great, awesome, majestic day. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to say our Bible pledge and jump right into it. I will not hold you any longer. You can just repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword. And this will I trust. For Yahashua is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible. And this is Yah's word. Hashem Yechavach. Amen. This is Yechavach's name. Hashem's authority. Let it be done unto us. Also, too, I did forget until just now, but it doesn't mean we can't do it. If somebody wants to call in, if somebody has an issue, if somebody just has a question and you'd like to be heard out loud, I'm not sure if YouTube will be able to hear you. Hopefully they will. But if anybody has a question, comment, or concern, you'd like to be able to talk about it, feel free to go ahead and bring it up on TikTok. We'll let you in. You can go ahead and do what you do and be in conversation. Praise God. So if you have a challenging view or something, we might even do something, if somebody invites us, we'll to be on their live, whatever. But if you'd like to be on the live session tonight, if you let us know, we'll do our best to let you in. We ask that everybody be respectful of the platform and everything, but we thank you guys so much for being on, and thank you everybody for being on. Hopefully you got the Google Calendar invite. Hopefully you enjoyed the Shabbat. And brothers, once again, we'll see you guys on Monday evening. So, but tonight, unless there be anything else that's brought up, anybody can bring up anything. This is kind of a special. I usually am not on Saturdays, but I'm making up for a lot of stuff. It's changed, times have changed and stuff, and I have been on time where I've just been not able to get on for different reasons or whatever, so just trying to give a little bit of extra to the family. So feel free to ask away if you have questions. My main focus tonight, though, before we even get into anything else, is really I know who I am, right? I want to say that up front, and let's get that out the way, right? How you doing, Sister Judith? Which war are you talking about? There's always wars going on. Are you talking about Russia, Ukraine? Are you talking about Iran, Israel? Are we talking, which we talked about earlier this rising as well, but I can say it again if you weren't on or you missed that part. Which war? There's always multiple wars, and even when we don't know which wars are going on, there's always multiple wars. You said yes. Which one? I don't know. but in the meantime, I know who I am, so I want to make this very clear, and you have to make this clear, and this is going to be pretty much my answer for almost everything in some way, shape, or form tonight. You have to know who you are. Who did Yahweh call you to be before the foundation of the world, and what do you do, right? Bold statement alert. I used to make these bold statement alerts a lot more, and I'm okay with making them because I'm starting to feel like I'm in a safe place, and I'm starting to realize that I have to be this no matter what. I know who I am. Bold statement. When it comes to the word, doesn't mean that I'm perfect, doesn't mean I know everything, doesn't mean that I don't need Yahweh, but what I'm saying is true, and I mean this in all sincerity. How you doing, Brother Rodney? Some persons will say this is not a humble statement. It is what it is. Bold statement, right? I am gifted to preach the word of Yah, and I believe that I'm becoming who I'm called to be in preaching the word of Yah, teaching it, living it, and showing others how to live it, which means that I am okay with saying, because I'm okay with being who I am okay with saying that Yah has called me to lead his people, not everybody in Israel, I'm not saying that, but SOC, and those who be with this branch of Zion, right? He has called me for such a time as this, right? Because he knows what he put in me. How you doing, Edot? Right? I wanna say that specifically because we're talking about tonight. I know who I am. You got to start talking to yourself like this in your daily affirmations. Romans 8:1, Romans 8:11, Romans 8:18, 19, Romans 8:28, Romans 8:37 to 39. You got to talk to yourself and remind yourself of who you are, because you're going to have to make sure that you encourage yourself. Right? Right? I'm going to tell you the power that God has put in me, but He's put a power in you. I don't know if we want to do the call out thing tonight because there's some of you I can say some things. But that being said, some stuff is not everybody's business. So I don't want to play that game without consent. But real talk, right? I have been blessed to be able, with the help of Yah, with the help of my wife, to be able to have something start from basically an essence to where nobody really knew about it to within 11 years or so, something that has become a worldwide thing, and even persons teach what we teach. There's persons who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of viewers who connect with us, who give into what we're doing and stuff. Even if my name is not known, right, the things that Yah has placed in me are known. I say that because sometimes you've got to remind yourself of the power that Yah has put in you. Right? Some of you don't realize the fact that you have raised families in complete chaos and frustration and out of the mud. Some of you don't realize that even though there's many persons that say that you don't do this, you don't make as much money, etc., but yet somehow, some way, you're living lifestyles that persons who make way more money than you are wishing and dreaming that they could live, right? You have to be okay with who you are. And I make a promise to anybody, right? I don't mind debating, because debate is argument. Arguments have rules, true arguments. We don't really argue, but I'm going to say this. I'm realizing that there's even certain arguments I don't need to have in it, right? Like to the point where I'm not getting stuff done because I'm so busy trying to hope that persons would be like, oh yeah, he has a gift in them, he has a calling, or they agree. You don't have to agree with what Yah's put in them. It is what it is. You don't ever have to. You don't ever have to come to agreement. As long as Yah agrees with it and I agree with it, what his will is will come to take place. Right? I need you to recognize that about your vision, about your dream, about what he has in you. Do you hear what I'm saying, beloved? You have to believe that about you. Don't let any of this cats out here. Thank you, Sister Mignon. How you doing, Sister Sylvia? Right? And how you doing, babe, Elder Amazon? Right? And thank you for your presence as always. How you doing, Dreadheads? Okay. How you doing, Roger? See, I want you to catch this. There is nothing that Yah has placed in you that is not important, right? Which means that when people try to demean you or try to belittle you, it's time for us, I'm talking about starting with me as the head, it's time for us to stop arguing with folk that aren't even in the same stratosphere as far as our call. Like, there's one thing if you arguing with me and you can even go back and forth with me, like, and I'm not, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, all right? We're just gonna talk tonight. If somebody arguing with you and they can't, like, look, I'm in the word all day, every day. I know the language, right? I know what it says in there, right? I be feeling like Kendrick Lamar, right? Y'all be on some stuff where cats be arguing with you and trying to argue outside of that, and I'm like, that's, you know, as Kendrick would say, that's hosh. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that, right? You don't know about teaching them to pray, encouraging them, loving them. Well, I feel like that has been about the word. There's a lot of persons, they don't live the word at all, but they want to argue with you about something that they'll never try. They're trying their best. Like, remember the whole beef, basically, even though Kendrick ain't the greatest moral compass either, but the whole beef was basically, Kendrick was saying morals are important, Drake was saying how much money, this and that or whatever. I got to a place to where What Yah has for me, what he has inside of me has grown so much, not just even in my own life, but it's manifesting in the lives that I'm around. See, some of you have to recognize, have you ever thought about the fact, some of y'all are like, man, I don't make that much money. My house isn't the biggest. My apartment, I don't have this. I can't afford this. I can't get the lavish stuff. I can't afford the clothes. And you haven't even thought about how many persons have you sown into their life? How many persons have you had direct conversation with about things? And they've grown simply because you were in their life. How many persons has that happened with in your life? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about it? Right? Like, what is it about, like, I don't know if I'm even saying it right. I'm trying to slow myself down, right? A lot of persons start a lot of coalitions. A lot of persons start a lot of alignments or allegiances or things because you are trying to prove to others, you know, what Yah has already said to you. You don't have to do a thing to prove anything else, right? And I'm going to say it, I'm not saying I'm the end all be all of anything, but some of you live as if somebody else has to always say it to you. So, okay, let me be one of the first, if not one of the many who have already told you that you don't have to do things to worry about what somebody else has to do to uplift you, right? And I'm here to tell you, if others want to see if you're great, they will do what others will do to be part of your greatness, right? But stop starting things because you're upset or you're frustrated or you're going to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to show them that nobody can do like I do. No, just be you. That will show them. There's not one thing that Yah has put in your life that will not become manifest if you are obedient to his word. And I'm telling you that as a fact, as context, as truth. If Yahweh says this will happen if you do this, then do what he said. If you do, then he'll do, guaranteed. Right? Those who believe in you, see, look, we used to use this quite often. Allow me to use it again. SOC members who are used to me saying this over and over again. It might seem like, oh, here you go again, here we go again. But look, everything in the tree, right, is in the seed. And everything in the seed is in the tree. The tree is no greater than the seed is no greater than the tree. And the fruit is guaranteed because the fruit is the system, or the fruit is the conduit that is used to attract things to the tree that the seed might be spread. All right? Now Pete Game, and thank you for the love. Now Pete Game. So this tree, right, will never, ever get up. I know you've seen the videos and stuff. I'm here to tell you, you know, most of those are made up. How you doing out there? How you doing, Sister Shirley? Right? I know you saw the videos where the trees got up and walked. This tree does not need to get up and walk. It has fruits that has seed. The word seed in Hebrew means word, right? It also means sperm, and it also means seed. So the word seed means word, it means seed, and it means sperm. So the earth has been impregnated already, right, with a seed. That seed has grown into the tree. The seed is the tree is the seed. The word has been implanted, and the word that's going to come out of the tree, right, planted by the rivers of water that in the season gives much fruit. What attracts a lot of things to the tree is the fruit itself, or the fruit itself. You hear me, beloved? So you're on this long road trying to do all this stuff or whatever, but you need to recognize that there's fruit in you. There's fruit in you. How you doing, Minister yourself? What is the fruit that you carry? What is the word that you carry? What is the thing that's going to impregnate those with the word, with a gift, with a calling that's going to stir up something, that's going to cause something to grow in somebody else? That's what attracts somebody to the tree, is the fruit. Why do you know it's an apple tree? Because you like apples. Why do you know it's a banana tree? Because you like bananas. Why do you know it's a orange tree? Why do you hear what I'm saying, beloved? Why do you know there's a pear tree? Because you like pears. Why do you know that that's I don't know. I see it in my head. I'm sorry. Everybody always buys it. The green stuff. Avocado. Why do you know that's an avocado tree? Because you like avocados. So you know the tree because of the fruit it bears. Salam. Come on, family. Come on, family. Talk back to me just a little bit tonight. Talk back to me just a little bit tonight. Right? We're going to get there. I want you to know who you are. I know who I am. So if you come to this tree and you keep telling me that you want the fruit, but you go sit up there and you don't do anything, We headed somewhere. Let me calm down. Let me slow down a bit. Let me slow down a bit. Well, talk back to me tonight, if you can. All right? Look, if you come to me, know that you're going to get the greatest of apples from me. And by the way, if you want me to produce apples for you, I can't change how I produce it. I've been blessed with something, past something put on the inside. I've been trained. I've given my whole life to be able to develop the fruit this way. I need somebody to catch it. I've been developed and trained my whole life to develop the fruit this way. I can't speed up the process. I can't slow it down. Right? I might be able to get pruned and that way be able to develop more fruit. But as far as the process, it doesn't change just because somebody says it. Right? I just want you to catch it. See, it's like the word of life, or what Yah has in you, right, has been planted in the ground. You have grown into the tree, right? And some of you are trying your best to figure out, how can I speed up the process and slow it down? Oh, somebody missing it. How can I get the blessing sooner? I expect the blessing, but how can I get to the blessing sooner? I expect the fruit, but how can I get more? I expect the views, but how can I get more? I expect, but love, do you know that there's some trees that might only, like, or watch this, what is the name? I don't know. Somebody might be able to know the name of that flower. What's the name of that flower? And it only opens up once a year. It's only going to bloom once a year. It's going to start to die once it blooms. There's that one that has that really bad smell, smells like even rotting flesh or something like that. They have one in the museum in DC, right? But you must understand, not all trees are trying to do the same thing. Not all trees give fruit the same way. Not all trees are going to deal with seed the same way. Not all trees are going to, male trees and female trees are going to interact the same, right? Pollen has to happen sometimes with bees and other things, with butterflies. Sometimes there's seed that flutters in the sky, right? But you have to recognize and realize that what God has given you is for you, and it only grows the way that the Most High said. You know what I'm talking about, just don't know the name. Yeah. So it only grows the way the Most High said. That's it. And a lot of you keep trying to figure out, watch this, not only are you trying to figure out how to get something different than how the Most High created it, some of you are going to everybody else and saying, I want something different out of you than what y'all put in you. But now you got to respect the Yah in you. See, I know who I am. See, and watch this. When you know who you are, you should respect who you are. You should put up boundaries to protect who you are, right? And then you should make sure that you know who you are, so you never allow somebody to dissect who you are. My greatness. Come on, Holy Spirit. I know my voice ain't back all the way, but that's a word. I don't even know if I can say that again. Somebody had to rewind that. What's that, 22 minutes and 30 seconds of the YouTube video, right? If I know who you are, if I know who I am, right? What did we say? Holy Spirit, help me. If I know who I am, right? I got to put up, no. If I know who I am, I will put up boundaries to protect who I am, right? If I know who I am, it was something in the middle there. Whoever that's for, it was for. How you gonna brother do this? But the last part of it too, once I know who I am, right, then I also will make sure that I don't allow persons to dissect who I am, right? A lot of us have a lot of persons who put a lot of different effort and stuff, and are doing a lot of stuff and saying a lot of things or whatever that are causing us to be all over the place. You know? So a lot of persons are all over the place, right? A lot of persons, so many persons are throwing so many things at you, and you're allowing these different things. Corpse flower, thank you. That's the flower I was talking about, the corpse flower. You're allowing persons to say so much stuff, and this is why the Bible says beware of being what's called double-minded. Double-minded, or having cognitive dissonance. Double-minded, by the way, is a lot simpler than what we like to put it. If somebody is double-minded, really, in essence, as far as the biblical reference, what it's really saying is that you are the type of person that thinks that it's okay to do whatever you want, right? But then pray that Yah protects you through everything that you do. And you think that, and if you think you can come to Yah like that, that's James. That's James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8. Everybody just focus on verse 8. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So it's saying if you go to the Most High and you'll pray and think and act a certain way, right? That's what you do all the time. If you pray and you think you act a certain way, well, guess what? When you pray, you think and act a certain way, then you're also going to deal with the issues that come with If you pray and you think and you act a certain way, one of the things you're going to deal with are the issues that come with it. Hold on one second. Are you trying to get in?
No, I'm good.
Well, you need to. They riding around. Okay. All right. Well, they're riding around, so you need to figure out which one. All right. How you doing, Minister Raj? All right. So you got to figure this out. I don't know where I was. I'm sorry. Right? But I know who I am. Right? And we can't allow a person to dissect, and sometimes we dissect ourselves or allow the enemy to, because we try to live duplicate lives. How dare we think that it is acceptable to go to the Most High Yah? Hear me, beloved. We think that it's acceptable. How you doing, Jay Canavan? To go to the Most High Yah and say, Yah, I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing, but protect me in it. That's not how law works. All right, hold on one second, I guess. Anyways, where are we at? How you doing, Darius? How you doing, Sister Iska? And sorry, I guess it's getting dark. You guys can't see my face. But where are we at? I don't know, guys. Yeah, someone's always watching. I don't know where I was, but oh yeah, being double-minded. We become persons who believe that it's okay to do several thousand different things that we know are wrong, to mistreat persons, to not be in his will, to not be the husband we're supposed to be, not be the wives we're supposed to be, not be the children we're supposed to be, not be the so-called members, or whatever you want to call it, we're supposed to be. But then we say, oh, but yeah, protect me. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. How you doing, vegan Hebrew? It doesn't work like that. Right? Persons should know you by the fruit that you bear. Persons are attracted to your fruit, right? No tree needs to knock on your door, right? They come up to you and say, hey, would you like my fruit? No apple tree has ever asked you if you wanted apples. No orange has ever told you, hey, go to the store and try me out. If you like the tree, if you like the fruit, you got to go to the tree. And every tree knows what it does, and it doesn't come outside of what it does. If it's an evergreen tree, it knows what it needs to do with the magnesium. If it's not an evergreen tree, it knows what it has to do to get rid of the magnesium, right? If it's an apple tree, it is not developing bananas, okay? If you are a child of Yah, you are not developing wickedness. And I'm just being honest, I'm throwing in the towel on allowing myself to argue certain things that I'm not anymore, right? Can I profess? You should. Look. Somebody say this being big-headed or whatever. I'm telling you the truth about me. I'm telling you what I know about me. I am a dynamic teacher. I am Yahweh's child, really, first and foremost. I am a great husband who's going to get greater every day. I am an awesome father who has a lot of stuff to be able to teach his son. I am somebody who will give you the shirt off his back if necessary. Right? I'm somebody who has had a lot of emotional damage, but somehow has come out to be able to make sure that they can hear others rather than being a hurt person that hurts others. Right? This is who I know I am. And who do you know yourself to be? Who are you? Who are you? Right? Especially if you're called to be something. How is it that you're called to be something and you don't take no time to become what you're called? Called means invited, by the way. Just because you're called to do something doesn't mean that you'll do what you're called to do. If I call you, right, you don't have to answer the phone, but I still can call you. If I say, hey, Mignon, come over here. Mignon can come or she can stay. You hear what I'm saying? You have to be okay with who you are and be solid. I promise you so much, because I told you I value sleep, I value peace. I promise you that we create a safe place, and I'm starting at the head with me. I am in a safe place to where, you know what, somebody trying to denounce who I am. Now see, this is where it gets iffy, because what if you don't know who you are? Then it becomes easier to try and get you to dissect it or try to argue it. No, I know who I am. Well, you're not this, it's blah, blah, and you're not this as the pastor. Okay, well, let the record show, right? If persons start going down that road, I'm just telling you, I'm not doing it for the sake of argument. I'm just going to cut it off, right? Oh, we don't like this, blah, blah, whatever. Well, let the record show, right? You're not a great teacher. Okay, well, look at the recordings. You tell me why I'm not, right? But I'm not gonna allow somebody to take me outside. If somebody stop me on the street, oh man, we don't like the fact that you're walking around here and you're dressed like that. Oh well, what does that have to do with who I am? So what does it mean to come up hither? Hither? I don't know if it's to come up hither. Isn't that just to come over here? I'm not sure if there's another word. I apologize too, by the way. Somebody else, was it Sister Judith? I apologize if you're still here. Sister Judith, what was it you asked earlier? What do I feel about the war? So this is when I know who I am. I don't get twisted out of it. I know who, and I try to study somebody for who they are. Let them be who they are. Let them show you who they are once they do believe. So any war, take your pick. War happens so much that we should be accustomed to it happening, or at least accustomed to the fact that it happens around us. If we're talking about Iran and Israel, Iran and Israel is simple for me. Iran and Israel, you know, they fight every year. If they fight every year, there's going to be another one. The only reason why it's big is because now it's like becoming a right versus left thing for this year. But it's always something that happens. It's been happening since the 5 or 6 days war, whatever that was. So it's going to happen again. Both sides are going to end up on the side of the fence. I'm not listening to the news, but I'm pretty sure without even watching the news, I'm pretty sure you've heard this. Iran basically are the Muslim sides who are coming to attack the Jews who must be protected in Israel. You probably heard a little bit of Netanyahu is somebody who's in line with Trump and must be protected. You probably even heard stuff. I haven't watched the news, but I know this one. I bet. I told y'all I don't. When I say I bet, I'm telling you, Pastor Kofi don't really bet. So watch this. I'm gonna tell you without even watching. I know they say this one. I know for a fact, right? If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. I'll even state. I would state if somebody tells me that they haven't said this, I'll figure out what to give you, right? But peep game, I bet you they've even said something like this. Oh, you know that they're developing nuclear wars in Iran, or nuclear weapons in Iran. What if they develop a nuclear weapon over there? They say that like 7-8 times a year. Most persons just don't catch it because you don't care about it. Right? But I'm just saying, I'm just telling you, all this stuff, right? And then there's lies, of course. Because first of all, even the war about Iran and Israel is very interesting because the Israelis over there, they're not even Israelites, and the persons of Iran, they're not even originally from, the area either. So it's very interesting, like the claims state. But long story short, it's something that happens every year. I think I said earlier, I likened it to like, every year they tell you that cryptocurrency is going to go away in China and the United States of America, and everybody sells it, and then all the companies come and buy it up, and then people realize later, oh, I shouldn't have given it, and they try to buy it, but it's too late. You're going to see the same thing. How you doing, Casey? So I would make it a point to say this, with anything, but especially war, and really go back to Matthew 24, all right? When they ask Yahshua, when he says that the end is coming, which some persons might say he was just only talking about 70 AC. I would say you got to dig a little deeper, but right, when not a stone will be left upon a stone. But they say, well, what's going to be the signs of the end times? He tells them, this is what our Messiah says. He says, don't worry about when they say there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. He says, don't worry about when persons say they are me or they're coming to get my name. He says, don't worry about when this weather thing's happening. He said, those things must happen. They are the beginning of sorrows. But he says, what you need to pay attention to is to make sure that you realize that whoever endures, right, to the end, the same will be saved. And then in verse 14 of Matthew 24, right behind verse 13, verse 14, he says that once we preach the proper interpretation of the word of Yahweh that reveals truth and gives eternal life, he says, then he will send his son back. Meaning that when we preach the correct word, see, in a marriage, there's something called, in the marriage, you're not dependent on the other person, you're not independent of the other person. In a marriage, you are interdependent. That means that both sides are required. Right, there's a requirement of the on both sides, and Yehoshua says, "I fulfilled my requirements, and I'm gonna come back and fulfill my requirements. However, I cannot come back. The Father cannot tell me it's time to come back until you guys make it a point to make sure the proper interpretation of the word has been given. For how can I come back and hold all men accountable and they don't know the word? You know that that's in your word. Yes, no man knows the day and the hour, but there's some stuff you got to do. So, as far as the wars, rumors of wars." That's about as much as I really care to put into it. Now, as far as like political ties, as far as oil, as far as different things like that, as far as how deep into the war they're going to go, which, by the way, they can't go but so deep because the persons that are paying the United States, or getting paid by the United States for their weaponry, are the persons that are getting paid by Iran for their weaponry. So it ain't going to go but so far, right? Israel, same thing. It ain't going to go but so far. The UN ain't going to go but so far. I'm not going to give that much attention to it outside of that. So I hope that's not a cop-out to you, but it is what it is. It's the same thing every year. Go do a Google search. Look up Iran, Iraq 2024. Look up Iran, Iraq 2023. Look up Iran, Iraq, wrong one. Look up Iran, Israel 2024. Iran, Israel 2023. Iran, Israel 2022. And you'll discover this is the same game every year. Same posturing every year. Just like when somebody goes, "Oh, this is the year that now we need to start talking about the Palestinians." Palestinians been getting their behinds whipped since 1940s. And they've been getting less and less territory and blown up and then fight back and then blown up and then fight back and then blown up. That's been going on, with every president just about. So it's kind of one of those things, the same thing. But when you know who you are, you start realizing, and you know whose you are, and you know what can help more than anything else is us actually coming together, because no matter what you would want to do, right? Basically, the most you can really do at this point is pray. And if you're not powerful enough as a people, we're not going to be listened to anyways. So that's kind of where I stand on that. That's where the word stands on that as far as my studies on it, and that's what I've seen on it, You said the U.S. has dropped bombs as we speak. There you go, right? So it's only a matter of time. With Trump in there, Trump is more attached to those persons who are making money and stuff off of the war than we've had in times past. So I would say, like, you're probably going to see a little more of the U.S. entryway. But, it depends. That oil is something to behold and to be seen. But, Iran makes a whole lot of money and gives a lot of money to the U.S. So unless I can't, this is the only thing. See, this is when I got to get into opinion. Other stuff I know is contextual facts that reveals truth. This is like an opinion. So take this as for what it's worth. The only reason I could see them fully going into war with Iran, like all the way, the only reason I could see that is because they're stupid. Right? And what I mean by that is you can look at any entity. You can look at the WWE. You can look at ballet. You can look at rap artists from Lil Wayne and stuff. All these, Iran puts a lot of money into the United States and into Americans, especially famous Americans. Iran puts a lot of money into Trump and Trump Towers. So it's kind of one of those things that they did it, they would have to chop off their nose to spite their face. But it doesn't mean, I guess, so to me, it was, see how stupid it is. Persons have said to Trump, but Trump doesn't run everything himself. That's the only thing, so it depends, like who's running stuff, what alt-right person is saying, who's doing whatever, what cabinet member does. A lot of them seem to have done a few things so far to where they just did it out of spite. So if they would cut off their own nose to spite their face, maybe they do it. I don't know. So, but for me, I just stay connected. I stay connected to Abba. I just gotta stay in position. I be in his word. If he tells me to have faith, right, the size of a mustard seed, if he tells me that don't worry about the wars and rumors of war, if he's already given us a standard. He's already shown us a vision that we're supposed to do that's outside of the system anyways. I just don't give it too much. You know. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. But anyways, though, time. We're just about the time for the night. Got to be up early. Ministerial staff. We have prayer tomorrow, and that's at 7 a.m. New York time, and then at 8 a.m. New York time I'll be on for the live session. We should be back on track in Genesis, somewhere around Genesis 35 or 36, to start back up with our Out of Shot series. We moved the men's meeting from tonight till Monday evening, so we'll see you guys on Monday evening. After this, tonight, you should see the next Google Calendar invite should have dates and everything for when we're going to start our teachings and all the stuff. So hopefully you'll be for that. North Carolinians, we seen that had a mix-up and everything. I'm not coming this weekend to North Carolina. I'm coming the last weekend of this month. So next weekend, next Saturday, Sunday, hopefully we'll be able to do 2 of those days, Friday through Sunday. But hopefully we'll be able to do like a Saturday and Sunday meetup somewhere. At least one of them, I forget the name of the park, but at least one of them at a park. So next Saturday and Sunday, we'll try to meet up. Definitely that Saturday for sure. We'll try to meet up and do some stuff together and relax, chill out, and be in a position where even if everybody can make it same time, hopefully so, but even if not, maybe a person can just come by. We'll give everybody an address and stuff, and you know, if you can come through, feel free to come through. All right, I love y'all, appreciate you, pray for us. Thank you once again for any donations, any kind of money that's given to help us behind the scenes with stuff that we have to do to work, make sure that the work is done. Your time, talent, effort, energy, your viewership, all that stuff, you're liking the video, sharing the video, it is very much so appreciated, and we thank you so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my leave. Hope you guys are doing well. Know who you are, and that part, there was one part I really didn't get a chance to get into, but like really respect who you are and don't start any of this stuff. Some of y'all are starting stuff because you're angry or because you want to prove somebody wrong or because you're gonna say, see, I'm gonna show them that I can do. No, Yah has already called you before the foundation of the world. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody, right? Just be in Yah's will, be what he called you to be. Okay, so I love y'all. Know who you are. Stand on it. And if you have all this greatness and y'all put it inside you, right? Then who can separate you from His love, right? Who is greater than our Yah? When you can answer that question for me, you no longer in the kingdom, right? So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Forget about it, right? And have a great evening. Love you all to life. You all take care. We give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife. And remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Thank you all so much. Love you to life. You all take care. I will talk to you soon. Peace. Shalom.